Hi, Professor. This is Team Apple Company, and I'm Yazhen Wu.
I'm Shiki.
I'm Brian.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Leo.
I'm Jianhong.
Okay, I'm gonna discussion the technology industry background first. Technology industry background, it is like a new advanced industry, and it is focused on human-centric design. We're gonna have some digital transformation, and technology, it is not only one company's working on it, and it is a globalization technology industry. So we're gonna have supply chain and a data strategy. It is also one part we're gonna do. And language models, transformers, training, application program interfaces, and safety and moderation will be the popular topic under the technology industry right now.
Here is a supply chain for the Apple and Samsung. For the Apple, the first is the key components and suppliers. It has raw materials sourced globally, including the process from TSMC, which is a company from Taiwan, and it displays from Samsung and LG. And for the major tier one suppliers is Samsung, LG, and TSMC, and also the Foxconn. And for the production and sales, it has a product range from iPhones to iPad and MacBooks. And for the sales volumes, it maintained a strong sales. For example, like in the 2019, it has $180 million. And for the logics and distribution, the global distribution products sold through Apple on the store online platform and sold as the resellers in the worldwide. And for the presentation, for the transportation, the multimodal strategy combining air, sea, and land transport ensures efficient distribution. And third-party logics usually include the common industry practice like used for enhanced efficiency in warehousing and delivery service. And for the Samsung, for the raw materials, the key elements include the semiconductors and also the display panels, for example, like the LG display, and the second, the tiers one suppliers, basically the Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea, and the finished good, the diverse product lines such as smartphones, consumer electrics, and it's kind of same like the Apple company. And the first is the product values. It has a big growth from the 1920 to the 2021. And for the manufacturing locations, mainly in South Korea, China, and Brazil. And the distribution, the global network utilized major ports and airports extensively used for the trail and road further distribution. And the third-party logics collaborating with leading logics providers like DHL and FedEx for efficient delivery.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the operating performance on both Apple Inc. and Samsung Electronics. The Apple Inc. It is the revenue of 2023. It is 383.29 billions, and the Samsung Electronics revenue of 2023 it is 196.77 billions. I can see the revenue from these two companies, so Apple will be higher than Samsung Electronics. The return on equity, it is 100% and 61.95%, and Samsung only got 4.15%. So the most important, it is the margin. So I post the operating margins, gross margin, and net margin to compare each Apple Inc. and Samsung. Operating margin, it is 29.82 for Apple Inc. But Samsung only got 2.54%. And the gross margin, it is 4.13. And for Samsung, the gross margin, it is higher. It is 44.13%. And net margin for both companies, for Apple, it is 25.31, and Samsung Electronics, it is 5.55.
Okay, so now we'll go over supply chain risk for global companies in general, and as well for our own company, Apple. So first, for global companies, our risk is supplier reliability. So factors such as supplier bankruptcy, production delays, quality issues, where labor disputes can disrupt the supply chain and lead to product shortages or delays. Next is geopolitical instability. Political unrest, trade tensions, tariffs, and regulatory changes in key markets can disrupt supply chains by affecting transportation routes, trade agreements, and sourcing strategies. Next, rising inflation. So inflation affects cost, pricing, and profitability, and it often leads to higher prices for raw materials, energy, labor, and other inputs used in production. This increase in input costs can directly impact supply chain expenses, reducing profit margins for manufacturers and distributors. Lastly, natural disasters and climate change. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it can disrupt supply chains by cutting off companies' access to raw materials. And now for Apple, first we have meeting high demand. So trying to find a balance in quality while also meeting the consumer expectations. Next, environmental factors and social risk. So Apple faces scrutiny over its environmental sustainability and labor practices within its supply chain. Environmental regulations, labor disputes, and reputational risk associated with violations of ethical standards can impact Apple's brand image and consumer perception, affecting sales and market share. Next, and kind of tied in with environmental social risk, are geopolitical risks. The trade tensions between the United States and China, where many of Apple's suppliers are located, pose risks on tariffs, export restrictions, and supply chain disruptions. Changes in trade policies or political instability in key markets could impact Apple's production costs and supply chain flexibility. And lastly, product leaks. Apple has in the past struggled with outsourcing, and it can lead to quality control challenges in the supply chain.
Okay, so let's discuss the corporate social responsibility. You can call it the CSR. The CSR is play a significant role in the Apple operation, particularly focused on their supply chain. Apple is deeply committed to the CSR, embracing the environmental sustainability by using the recycled material and ensuring all their facilities run on the renewable energy. The company also upholds a strict ethical sourcing and labor practice, conducting a regular audit to ensure supplies adhere to the Apple's code of conduct. This effort not only boosts Apple's reputation, but also ensure the sustainability and the ethical integrity of their supply chain operations. Next.
Why is it important? In our interconnected world, supply chains are not just about logistics and operations. They're also about the impact these activities have on the planet and on people's lives. Implementing effective CSR practices is crucial for ensuring sustainability and ethical operations across the entire supply chain. Let's take Apple as a prime example. Apple is a global leader in technology, known not just for innovation in products, but also for its pioneering efforts and responsible supply chain management. Next. Apple CSR initiatives in its supply chain. When it comes to the environmental responsibility efforts to achieve carbon neutrality, I stated earlier, by 2030, use of renewable energy and commitment to sustainability is very important for the company. When it comes to labor and human rights, the implementation of the Supplier Code of Conduct, regular audits, and fair labor practices is important for the working conditions for all workers in the supply chain. When it comes to responsible sourcing, initiatives to eliminate conflict, minerals, use of recycled materials to promote environmental sustainability is very important for Apple as they strive to source materials responsibly. Next. Firstly, enhanced brand reputation is important for Apple. Apple's commitment to CSR significantly boosts its brand image and credibility. Consumers today are increasingly conscious of the ethical practices by the companies they support, prioritizing CSR. Apple not only meets but often exceeds customer expectations. When it comes to operational efficiency, the cost reduction and efficiency gains from using recycled materials and renewable energy are both costlier and less sustainable. Similar renewable energy initiatives safeguard the company against fluctuational costs and fossil fuels, providing more predictable costs and stability in operational costs. As for regulatory compliance and the improved supply relationships, adhere to international laws and regulations, reducing legal risks, and the importance of strengthening the supply chain through ethical standards and supplier loyalty has enhanced the cooperation, which is crucial for maintaining high standards and product quality and innovation. Next.
Now we'll talk about Apple's supply chain structure in the face of corporate social responsibility. Our current critiques is Apple's supply chain is highly centralized in Asia, especially in China. This concentration poses significant risk, including increased susceptibility to regional disruptions, which was illustrated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Concerns around CSR are also prevalent. We've seen repeated issues related to labor violations, such as excessive working hours and unsafe conditions. Now let's move on to our suggested strategic improvements. First, we recommend diversifying the supply chain to reduce the risks associated with single country dependency. We recommend establishing manufacturing hubs in diverse regions, including the Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, and the Americas. This approach not only mitigates the risk, but also aligns with global production capabilities. Second, to enhance supplier audits, Apple must strengthen supplier audits and compliance measures. Ensuring strict adherence to labor laws and environmental standards is non-negotiable. Regular and thorough audits will help maintain the commitment to ethical practices and sustainability.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about the limitation. It is important for us to acknowledge some limitation in our analysis. So one major challenge was to limit access to some of the Apple proprietary data, which might have influenced our insight. The global market's dynamic natures also mean the risk and the effective strategy can change, requiring ongoing reassessment. Despite these challenges, our studies still have a strong foundation of understanding how Apples can leverage CSR to mitigate risk and enhance supply chain resilience. And looking ahead, further research could explore more detailed impact of the CSR across the Apple's global operation, refining a strategy for the future.
Okay, this is the video about the future of supply chains, and we're gonna put this video in the final of our presentation. And thank you for listening.